Alright everybody, I do want to thank everyone for tuning in here. Here we go straight right into like our next episode here. And here we go. Remember, there is always a playlist in the description here. And here we go.
Thought we'd find answers on Lenegis, but we just ended up finding...
You can say that again. And now we have more problems to fix, too.
That can wait for now. We've got more than enough.
Yeah. Which is why...
All the answers we've been looking for are on that planet. The person responsible, the answers have to be there.
So, what do we do?
We know nothing about the Renan homeworld or what we might face once we arrive. We should get a feel for how things are on the ground before we take...
It's also entirely possible that the first thing we're going to face...
If we come across a capital, we should... What? Damn! The hell just happened?
Our course has been altered. The coordinates are pointing to a different destination.
What's that?
The ship's controls aren't accepting my commands. The engine is being shut down.
That's bad, right?
Quite bad. We've lost control of the ship.
Is all of this the Red Women's doing?
Are they trying to finish us off before we can land?
Everyone! Look there!
A flower blooming out of Rena?
But that flower looks like it's absorbing all of Dana's energy.
And it appears Lenegis is serving as a conduit for that energy to reach here. Could that have been its true purpose all along?
If that's true, do you think the people back on Lenegis are all right?
We can only pray that they are.
Damn it! Haven't they taken enough already? When is this going to end?
The Flower of Oblivion.
With everything that's happening, we need to get back to Lenegis. Is the ship still offline?
Unfortunately, yes. Even more so than when it lay dormant.
Can you fix it?
Starships are extremely complex machines.
So what? We're just stuck inside.
I don't believe this. We're watching Dana die before our eyes, and we have no choice but to sit.
Law, calm down!
Right.
It's still too early to give up.
Alphen,
Now what?
the starship, it...
No, this is different. Something is pulling our ship in towards it.
We managed to get moving.
It looks like Lenegis in here.
Do you think we might run into more Renans here? Or the...
Perhaps. Someone brought us.
We haven't been ambushed, so that probably means they aren't hostile.
Hey!
If they wanted to attack us, they could have done so while we were back on...
Ah, Shion, just in the nick of time. Here,
No!
What the... Oh...
No, I'm the one who should...
Again, Law? Can't you even go a mi...
Seriously, it's fine. Besides, I'm the one who should...
Actually, I've been meaning to ask. Not being able to touch
I guess I never... Before long, it was just part of my every... Which isn't to say I did...
so numb to your reality, you couldn't even...
It's fine.
But...
I appreciate... Until I get rid of these thorns. I guess I'll have to put up with it just a little long. Maybe it'll be soon. Maybe...
Yeah. Boo!
Ah! What the... Are you out of your mind?
Oh, come on. How am I supposed to resist with you looking all jittery like that?
It's called experiencing feelings appropriate to the situation.
Yeah, but seeing you act all nervous... Whew!
Oh...
Staying alert is important, but too much caution can cloud your judgment. Try to strike a balance.
I still can't get over what we saw happening.
Yeah... Our planet's
I've only ever seen Rena from the surface of Dana, so I figured it was just enough. Still, though, I never would have imagined Rena actually looked like that. And what's the deal with...
Beats me. I have absolutely no clue.
Rena and Dana. We were taught that both worlds were spherical bodies. But to think that they lied to us, not only about the Sovereign...
Dohalim.
Okay, who's the one? That beam of light...
That's what it looked like.
Perhaps it was some kind of directive from the Renan homeworld? To reawaken the Wedge and Lenegis?
Which would mean that whoever's behind all this is on Rena after all.
Try to stay calm. What is it?
No, it's just... so much for me making
You made it this far. You notice something, you change it. That's all...
Central level, I guess. Okay, so central level. Lower level, this floor is inaccessible, this floor is inaccessible. Okay, so those floors are inaccessible. They're inaccessible, that I understand.
This place looks a lot like that room we saw back in the Forbidden Zone.
Huh? What's that? It's one of those!
A red woman in disguise. Or is this their true form?
So it was a trap?
It doesn't look like it can tell me. Are you the one who brought us here?
That is correct. It is unusual for me to have unexpected guests these days.
It can talk.
What are you?
Hevrect 35.
Hevrect 35. Is that your name?
Correct.
What is this place? No, wait, before that, just what exactly are you? Are you somehow associated with the Red Women?
Before I answer, I have a question for you. How did you all arrive in this sector?
We did not come to this place by choice. Our ship was brought here against our will, by a group of Red Women who can shift into the same form as you.
In that case, we can assume my brethren who serve the Great Spirit have deemed you all to be a threat most grave.
What do you mean, serve? Are you saying there really is someone more powerful than the Red Women, pulling their strings?
What did you do to us?
I examined your bodies. You have not been harmed in any way. Identifiers detected. The Sovereign and Maiden are among you. However, you aren't under its control. I see why they viewed you as a danger now.
Oh goody, more riddles.
Do you think we can trust this thing?
Like it or not, it may be our best chance at a ticket out of here. Let's at least hear it out.
I shall now answer your questions. We are Helganquil. The Red Women you encountered previously are a form of disguise we employ from time to time, but not our true form.
Helganquil?
You are on Daeq Faezol, a celestial base which drifted here by accident. The will of Rena's great spirit no longer reaches us here. Since my sudden separation from the Great Spirit's influence, I have used any and all means to extend my lifespan. As I have done so, I have also set out to monitor and research Rena and Dana from this position.
A question. What is this great spirit of which you speak? Is it something that rules over your kind?
Correct. The Great Astral Spirit is a large mass of astral energy that fills all of Rena, one with its own will, a voice we cannot refuse.
A voice? Just like Dana.
The voice of the Great Spirit speaks to our hearts directly, and we have served it without question throughout the ages.
Does that mean it was controlling your minds? Wait a second. Could this great spirit be the true sovereign of Rena?
The true ruler of Rena. It could be the same thing that's controlling Volron.
Wait, back up. You're telling us this great spirit of yours is the one that ordered you things to harvest the astral energy from Dana? I'm not sure I believe that.
Why not? We've already made contact with the will of Dana back in the Wedge, and in the Forbidden Zone on Lenegus. If Dana has a will of its own, I don't see why Rena wouldn't.
Maybe not, but think about what you're saying. If Dana has a will like Rena, then that would mean that we've been controlled by the voice of Dana this whole time, just like these things.
Dana's will hasn't been forcing us to do anything.
Yeah, but
Let's assume that what Hevrect 35 claims is true, and that we are indeed cut off from both planets. Even if we had previously been under the control of Dana's will, we would have noticed now that we are disconnected.
Your fear is not based in logic. The voice of Dana is much smaller and quieter compared to that of Rena's great spirit. Rena's astral energy is amassed at its center, whereas Dana's is shared among all its constituents. So thinly is that energy spread that it cannot coalesce and formulate a will. Our findings here indicate as much.
Which explains why we felt its will where we did. The Wedge and Lenegus are where so much of that energy had been accumulated.
The Great Spirit's desire is to consume all astral energy. And the pursuit of that desire is why you see Rena in its current state. As a result, it has turned its attention toward Dana.
Is that why the crown contest is necessary? So that the Great Spirit can feed off of Dana?
Indeed. And it was to that end that we Helganquil devised the crown contest. Had the initial spirit channeling from 300 years ago succeeded, all of Dana's astral energy would have been seized.
But the ceremony failed. Lenegis was severely damaged, and you lost both the Sovereign and the Renis Alma.
Correct. A change in plan was required to ensure the spirit channeling's success. However, recreating the Renis Alma required a vast amount of energy. That is why we turned to Dana.
So that was the real purpose behind the crown contest. An efficient means to harvest the necessary energy from Dana.
This is all happening because of me.
Nevertheless, you still haven't answered one of Alphen's original questions. Just why have you brought us here to your base, Hevrecht 35?
First, it was to confirm the identities of you, my unexpected visitors. Second, it was to ascertain whether you would be likely to accept my request.
A request? But what could someone like you want us to...
I wish for you all to slay the Great Spirit.
I'm sorry, did you just ask us to kill your master?
I did. It is in your best interest that you do so, I might add.
What makes you say that?
Lenegis has entered the final stage of the spirit channeling plan. As we speak, Dana's energy is being harvested en masse and transmitted to Rena. If nothing is done about the Great Spirit, it will not be long before all is lost.
You're saying the destruction we saw earlier is just the beginning? That...
We won't let that happen.
Why do you want us to kill the Great Spirit so badly? Is it to save our world? To free you, Helganquil, from under its control? Why?
No. My primary concern is validating our findings and analysis, which have taken many years to realize. As such, it is my desire to see how your actions impact and change these systems. However, I will not deny that vengeance also plays a part.
Vengeance? For what?
In spite of our long service to the Great Spirit, our species is on the brink of extinction.
You mean... you're dying?
At this stage, it would be wise for you to talk with the others. Ask them what you need to know. Once you have your answer, return to me. If you agree to help, I shall fix your ship.
Others?
I am the only Helganquil who inhabits Daeq Faezol.
Hey! Hey!
It's no use.
Okay.
You can't seriously...
To be honest, the conversation...
At the very least, everything it said about the Renan Great Spirit. That being said, had we not previously encountered the will of...
The spirit of Rena wants to see...
But why? Astral energy is supposed to be a force that...
It doesn't matter.
Right.
There is one other thing that... How the Great Spirit, the Helganquil, and the Crown Contest are all part of a centuries-long plan.
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevrecht 35 never even brought up the Renans once. And as for the Helganquil...
Maybe it had a reason for... Let's find out.
Okay, so now we gotta go around. We go to the lower department now. We'll go to the lower department. Oh, okay. So the lower department is here. I'm gonna go this way first.
Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any humans from the outside world.
Are you a Renan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. Whatever you want to know, but be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
What a weird guy.
He must have meant Hevrecht 35 when he mentioned...
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he...
There isn't anyone else we can talk to out here.
Have you guys lived up here in Daeq Faezol with Hevrecht 35?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how we regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten...
Why are you all even here in the...
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due...
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility...
And you've been working for Hevrecht 30...
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility. But then it turned out the Overseer...
What do you mean?
The Helganquil have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans. As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of...
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being... It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any I have to imagine that's how Lenegis is...
But aren't the Helganquil themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquil, so they had to employ other means to...
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you,
I mean, sure. I was surprised when I first found out about it.
Hevrecht 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though.
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or...
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty...
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or... After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best. Things are going just fine with you. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can extend... That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before...
Thank you for answering. Can we talk to you for a few...
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next shift. So,
Please, tell us what you know about...
you mean the Overseer species?
well, for starters,
Where else? From Rena, obviously.
from Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer...
Apparently not.
Please, tell us...
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by the Helganquil.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people...
There aren't. But there are Helganquil. That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Rena.
But what need could they possibly have to create a...
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of it. In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Danans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to vary...
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Danans that the Helganquil...
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use astro arts on Dan.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your They have these tiny machines that are...
Enough! You needn't tell us.
How can you speak so calm?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound... But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth enigma. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the... Anyway, the Helganquil are the real Renans. Personally, I don't think... They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers...
I see. Does he really expect us to believe that Renans never truly exist?
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting...
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while. Do you know anything about a spirit?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective?
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dana's astral energy.
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's energy so it would be compatible with Rena.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign and Maiden to convert.
We have a winner. However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed and became... The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Renans in Helganquil that day. For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Renis Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that, we set our sights on Dana, and implemented a system whereby we could extract...
And the Crown
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, it was decided to replace her role with machinery to avoid further A new Sovereign had to be made. It was such tremendously difficult work. Its success was dubious. But from the look of things...
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the...
What about the flower that sprouted from Rena?
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical manifestation of all the astral energy that's... As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's likely that it's become physically integrated with Rena's planet.
Hevrect 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is entering its final...
It is. I never thought I would live to see the day with my... Are we done talking now?
He talks like the potential end of the...
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for...
It feels like our whole...
Seriously.
Let's take a moment to... I know all of this is...
Agreed.
Everything that's happened.
And to get that energy, the great... Then the Helganquil created the Renans, who went on to...
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Renans as well is likely because they were
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take. Why don't we all take some time to think...
That's a good idea. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind all this, because it's not just Dana. So let's go ahead and break off for now. You sure you don't want to be alone, right?
I could ask you the same question.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and...
I'll go along with you. I'm interested to hear what's...
Sounds good.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah, let's hit up each spot. Everything we thought we knew.
Right. Assuming...
Well, if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helganquil could be behind the fruits of Helgen too.
But if Hevrect 35 what?
No, I don't think...
Really?
Make one, huh?
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's...
He who?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all.
What do you think about everything we've learned?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, but if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, as for the Renans, I suppose my feeling...
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renan. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is...
You kept a pretty level...
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, but at the same time, I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that.
I know you're already aware of this, but and If people then...
Even just among the Danans. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance...
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about...
Yeah.
It's no small task.
Right. Everybody has their... In a worst-case scenario, it...
And we all have...
That's an interesting...
It's true. It won't be achieved through reasoning. But I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now...
Alright, everybody. So now that we've now went through some of like this part here, I am going to end like this episode right here. I'll see everybody in like the next episode here. I do want to thank everyone for tuning in here. See you guys on like the next one.